Hello.
Hi.
I am going to try to share this. How was both of your days?
Mine was good. I went to lunch. My friend had bought me lunch for my birthday.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
it. That is awesome. Wait, is today your birthday?
No, Wednesday.
Wednesday. I'm like, wait, no, because I was like the 20th. I know it's like this week, but
Yeah, no, you're
it's not
good.
today, right? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past me to be like, oh, I didn't realize because I'm like doing this whole thing. Um, okay. That's exciting. Where'd you guys go?
Chick-fil-A?
Oh my gosh, I went to Chick-fil-A today too.
Really? What did
So
you
good.
get?
I just like their basic chicken sandwich,
Oh,
like
yeah.
no pickles. It's like literally just so basic. And their fries are so good. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I
So,
always get a milkshake too, like their
oh
cookies
yeah,
and cream.
their shakes are good too. I did not go
Mhm.
in today, but um that's fun.
Yeah. It was nice to see her. We
That's
went to the temple to do confirmations because she's not endowed yet. And we like
nice.
were in there and I updated her on all of the hey, my ex-boyfriend was married thing.
Oh my gosh. Crazy.
Yeah, so that was fun.
Oh man. Okay. The only thing about this Google thing is that it opens like so many different windows, and I don't have like a second like screen or whatever. And so
Oh.
it's like takes up so much of the space. So I just kind of have the presentation on in the background. I think that will work. We'll see. Okay. I know Heather is at rehearsal, so she's not going to be able to make it, I don't think, unless they get done early. And then I thought Haley was still coming. And then there were actually like other people that asked me if they could come just for today, but um I don't know. So we'll just start. Let's see. We'll just start, and then if anyone comes late, then whatever. Because I don't want this to go on forever. And like I said yesterday, like I like to be respectful of everyone's time and commitment, and especially like the people that are here. So I'm excited, even if it is just Monica and Sarah, and it's not just because you're like two of my favorite people. So, how was your day, Sarah? Just whatever, whatever, forever. That's our motto. Love it. Okay, well, today we are going to be talking more about cultivating self care routines and like building our self care toolkit and like not having it be overwhelming. And we're not really going to plan out any daily routines. I know it says that on there, but it's more just about recognizing and noticing like the things that we're already doing and like celebrating those little things and then incorporating things that bring us joy. So I wanted to in the chat, if you want to, you can look at this. It's like just a feelings wheel. And I think these are really helpful because sometimes like I don't even know what I'm feeling or I don't pay attention to how I'm feeling. And so since yesterday we talked about like letting feelings be present and witnessing those feelings without judgment, um, you can just take a minute to like look at this feeling wheel, or you don't have to use the feeling wheel, but you can close your eyes if you want and just like tune in to your body and to your nervous system and just recognize if there are feelings present. And you can share those in the chat if you want to. You also don't have to. Like, I don't even know if today so far, if I've even checked in with myself because I feel like I've been just chaotic. Like this morning I had a call with like a group, like with my group therapy group that I'm in, and then like my dogs were crazy, then like we went to go get food, and then we came back, and then like the football game was on, and like all of this just like chaos, and then like, oh my gosh, like it is almost time for my call, like this call. And so like I think ready can definitely be like an emotion or like a mindset for sure. Like you're ready, like that's how you're feeling. So like it's definitely a feeling. Like it doesn't have to be necessarily be an emotion, but I think ready definitely counts. I'm gonna look at these for a second and see if any of them feel. Oh my gosh, I love that, Sarah. Sarah says she wrote ready on the feeling page yesterday. I feel, hmm, oh my gosh, I just saw under the mad one, I want to hit something. That's so funny. I definitely felt that before. The RAR too is funny. I just found this feeling wheel and I really like it. Like I just am drawn to like the colors and everything in it too, but I haven't read through all of them, so that's funny. I feel settled. Sarah says, today currently sad, disappointed, left out, mad, grumpy, annoyed. Yeah, I am here witnessing that for you. Hold all the space for those feelings. And we know, we know that I get in those too, those same feelings. And there's no judgment around it. It's just like, yeah, that's how I feel. I feel settled, kind of just calm, kind of sleepy, nothing like just calm. I think those are probably the only ones I'm really feeling. I think ready is is probably good for me too. Okay. So so we talked about like yesterday too how self-care kind of can feel like intimidating, or like Monica, I know you were saying like, oh, like I'm not good. I'm letting somebody in. Um and so how we talked about like if you're not feeling like we're good at it, or not feeling um like it's hard, like it has to be this like extravagant thing. And so I think like even just looking at a feelings wheel or taking a second to just notice our feelings, like how we are talking yesterday too, is a form of self-care as well. Hi, Natty Lee. So Natty Lee just joined us. Natty Lee is in my meditation community that I do on Mondays and Sundays. Hi, Natty Lee. Sarah is my best friend from high school and forever friend, and Monica is like my bestie from college. So that's who everyone is. um, so Anyways, so coming back to our feelings and not judging ourselves, but just being like, okay, let me recognize these and feel them is definitely a form of self care as well. So let's go on to the next part. So, why do we even need to practice self care? I think like these two things on here are pretty like self explanatory. Like, our well being is important no matter the circumstance or the state of the world. Um, like there's so much going on like that it I feel like can get really overwhelming to even begin to think about having any kind of self-care practice. um, and self-care helps us manage stress better, and it allows us to be more productive. So taking care of ourselves helps us keep like a good work life balance, or even just like a balance in how we like our day-to-day tasks, and then also just like relaxing as well. So in the chat, if you want to, can you think of any other reasons why, or you can unmute yourself too if you want, but any other reasons why we need to practice self-care? What do you think? And have, if you don't have anything to add to that, that's totally fine too.
Can I share something that's kind of embarrassing about this?
Sure. Anything you want.
So, like in the first one where it says our well-being is important no matter the circumstance or state of the world, like I'm totally checked out of the news, like totally checked out. Like I this is going to sound so horrible, but I don't even know really what's going on in like Israel right now because I can't handle that on top of my self-care.
I
Like,
100% get that.
yeah. Um yeah, that's it. That's my embarrassing moment.
I don't You don't have to feel embarrassed here at all. Like, I also feel like I don't know as much as, like, this is me judging myself, and, like, maybe you judging yourself too, where it's like, I should, right? Where it's like, I feel like, "Oh, I should know, like, probably more than what I do," or, like, even how you're saying, like, "Oh, this is so embarrassing," and, like, you don't have to judge yourself for that. Like, it is there is so much, just the small amounts of things that I've seen is so overwhelming and so upsetting that I'm like, "That's enough." Like, I cannot, like, go down any rabbit holes, I cannot research this, or, like, it will send me in a spiral. So I totally can relate to that. Um, Sarah says in the chat, trying to shift from the desire for someone else to take care of me to feeling ready and able to take care of myself. Definitely. There is for sure like that shift where it's like, I don't know, like for me, like I don't know if it's ever going to really like go away of like wanting other people to care, like wanting someone else to also like take care of me, or like love me in the way that I want to be loved, or care for me in the way, like, it's like love languages, or show me, like, I don't think it ever really goes away. Like, I think I'll always want that like desire for it, but there is this power in coming into yourself and being able to take care of your own needs, or being able to like find the things that do feel healing to you, or that is self-care for you and exactly how you need it, that there's power in that. So, definitely.
Sorry. I just thought of something else. If I don't want this to like take up all the time though.
No,
So,
please.
okay, so like in therapy a lot of times like we talk about like the inner child and that sort of thing and like we talk a lot in my therapy about like my trauma as a child and how I revert back to like that childlike my therapist will be like, "How old are you right now?" And I'll say, "I'm like 8 years old right now." Like that's where I'm functioning. And I almost think that like learning self-care is also like learning to be a grown up.
Mm,
Like learning to like take care of yourself is a way of like bringing yourself into that higher space of being able to like function in the world as a grown up. That was like
I Yeah, like, I think that makes sense, and I also would challenge too that it's, like, learning to how to function as a grown-up while allowing yourself the joys of childhood, where it's, like, being able to combine both of those things, where, like, even in our activity, one of our activities is, like, tapping into the, like, simplicities of childhood, or like the playful things that brought you joy as a kid that we forget about as an adult. And I know like when there's like so much trauma in your childhood, that might be harder to like remember those types of things. But I do think that like self-care is can be like, okay, like this is how to function as an adult, like help, like maybe healthily, but also I think part of it too is remembering how to just be, like how to just have fun without like expectations or without um like judgment. Again, like a lot of this for me like comes back to like judging myself, which is a lifelong journey. I think like I'm not super confident in myself. Like it's learning how to step into that confidence or into that power. Um, but I like that you're making those connections too. Like that's good. So this is Audre Lorde, and she was like this cool, radical, queer, Black feminist woman, and she didn't like fit in to a lot of the spaces that she occupied, but she still advocated for herself and she thrived, and she was like this woman before her time. And anyway, she was just like this radical, like fighting for rights. And she said, caring for myself is not self indulgent, it is self preservation. And I just love that because sometimes I think like we can feel like guilty for um like wanting to do something just for ourselves, like, oh well, I shouldn't spend money on that because it's indulgent, or I shouldn't take time away from my kids, or I shouldn't like it's like it can be self-indulgent. And but I like how she says like it's self-preservation, like we take care of ourselves so that we can then go out and like serve other people or have more to give. Um, and so I want to transition kind of into what are self care activities. Like self care looks different for everyone. So this could also just be described as a joy list. Um, we were talking about this yesterday too, and a little bit today, but how sometimes it's like over dramatized, or it feels like this huge thing, or has to cost a lot of money, or it has to be a lot of time. But self-care can be a lot of different things, and just like you can call this a self-care toolkit, you can call it a joy list or a pleasure practice, whatever resonates with you. That's what I want you to kind of hold on to. um, so what are some things that come up for you when you think of self-care, or even just what brings you joy?
I have loved my time in meditation, um, and with the different communities that we have, the different people that hold that space, it feels really nourishing for me. Um, and so that's always beautiful. It is hard because you have, like, as you were talking before, that like self preservation, and like the word selfish always comes up, right? You're selfish for taking that time, you're selfish for spending that money, but that doesn't serve anyone. And I'm curious now to like, where does that word come from? What is more behind it? But self-care activities, like, just, I think I found that like taking time to like really turning, like, in my time right now, turning like those mundane routines and finding ritual in it. So
Mm,
like enjoying a bath or a shower and like really finding that. I love that you said self pleasure or play or whatever that looks like, but like turning those like routine things into pleasure, into like, I'm like just gonna love my body. I'm gonna like really love my scalp while I massage and the shampoo and conditioner in. I'm gonna take a bath and set some candles up and whatever feels good. Make some tea, or just like taking time to just slow down and really love my body the way that it needs to be loved and nourish it. Um, Sometimes that's hard, but
right,
it feels so good to just like take those times to do that. And how important it is to just listen to where you're at in your journey. Sometimes that's play, sometimes that's connecting, sometimes that is a little bit of self pleasure, or meditation, or sleep, or just making a really good nourishing meal that's just like, yes, this is what I need.
right.
And it kind of changes in like, where are you in your cycle, and where are you in your journey of healing, and where are you, who's around you, like how can you take care of yourself and still be present in the moments that you need to be in.
Definitely. Thank you for that, Natalie. Like, I love that concept of turning in those like mundane tasks or like chores almost, or like just like those things you have to do and figuring out like a way to make them like more intentional. Like I wouldn't even think like to have like washing my hair on my self-care. Like, even though like I know I would think like, oh, like showering or like hygiene, that kind of thing is like self-care, but like having that be part of like pleasure practice, like, yeah, like I'm gonna massage, like actually massage the shampoo into my scalp and like love my like scalp is like what that's profound to me. Like that's so good. And like what other, like there's so many other things. And I think we talked about this a tiny bit before, you and I, maybe Natalie, but like how you've been doing that with other things too, and like finding ways to, yeah, like to intentionally make those things like self-care. Like I love it. It's so good. Um, Sarah said, time spent dedicated to my creative practice, practices quilting and pottery, reading, slowly making coffee, sitting outside, definitely. Monica, your cat, always. And drinking in the nature from your bedroom window every day. I love that. I love all of those ideas. Um, so in the PDF, which you don't need it to do this, but there's this page that says favorite childhood activities. So I would love for everyone to just kind of brainstorm some things, what you loved doing as a child. So you can use the page in the workbook, or you can write it down in your journal, or even just think about it. But sometimes as adults, we forget about simple joys, things that made you happy as a kid. Likely would probably still bring you joy today, and playing also is a form of self-care. So while you're thinking about that, I'll just share a little bit for me, which I put these images up because these are some things that I loved as a kid. Jumping on the trampoline, laughing, coloring, camping, word searches. I would always like beg my mom to buy me those word search books at the grocery store. Reading magazines, digging in dirt, like literally just digging in our backyard. Like um, gymnastics, sewing, learning a new skill, bowling, going to the beach, playing cards, playing video games, I'll be quiet for a minute now so you can think. If anyone wants to share any of their favorite childhood activities, you can unmute yourself or put it in the chat.
So to expand on the whole shampoo thing, um, one of the things I wrote down was picking out the shampoo set. Like
Mm,
growing up, I had to share shampoo with my sister, and I remember like being at Walmart and my dad would say, "You guys have to decide or whatever." But we used to take turns. Um, and we'd get like the 98-cent Suave, you know? But like that was one of my favorite things. It's weird. There's a lot of favorite Walmart memories. Um,
mm,
like spending time in the craft section. Like I was never allowed to buy anything because we didn't have money, but like just being around all the fabric or the pom-poms or like all of that stuff was just like that's where I was when we were at that store. Um, but yeah, and I need new shampoo. So I'm excited now.
good. That is exactly what Natalie, I think, was like totally talking about, where it's like that's like a chore almost, where it's like, oh, I need to like buy shampoo, like I need to do this or whatever. And it's like, yeah, like that is a pleasure practice. Like that is a joy list item. That is self-care toolkit, like getting to pick out. And also that comes back to what Monica was saying about like how to be an adult. It's like, oh my gosh, like I get to pick whatever scent I want. Like Amy doesn't get to like pick it because it's not her week ever. Like I'm an adult. I get to smell every shampoo on the aisle if I want to and see what makes like which ones I like, which ones I don't like. Like that is fun and brings joy. And I love that. I'm excited to hear about your venture to maybe you'll have to go to Walmart. I know you're a Target girly, but the memories at Walmart, so maybe you'll have to go. I wrote down playing with makeup. So like my cousin Emily would come over and she's just a year younger than me. Some of you know her, but and we would do each other's makeup, like, and it was one of my favorite things in the world to have someone else like do my makeup or play with my hair. And so I was just thinking about that, and I have kind of put this in, like, tried to incorporate this more into my self-care, like, routines, or remember that I enjoy playing with makeup, like, trying different things, trying lots of different products, like, I like the process of it still to this day of, like, putting makeup on. I also there are days where I don't wanna do that, and that's okay too, but, like, that it is to remember that, like, even putting makeup on in the morning, like, I can remember, like, and tap into that, like, joy that I felt when I was young, like, putting makeup on and getting to just spend that time with my cousin, um, connecting and playing and, um, feeling, like, confident and, like, cute and pretty, like, with that. So, that was one of mine.
I'm looking at mine and, like, first of all, I was, like, dreading this activity because, like, I was not safe growing up, and so I'm like, "Okay, aside from, like, all the trauma, like, what was anything good?" But when you were listing things off, I was like, "Oh, yeah," like, some of those were also, like, things that I enjoyed, and things like, coloring or, like, just, like, pulling grass and, like, the seeds that you find and, like, things like that, or playing games or, like, we had this tape called We Sing Silly Songs.
Oh my gosh, we sing
No way.
VHSs, yes.
I loved that, and we would do these, like, 10-hour trips going from Massachusetts to, like, Pennsylvania, and we would play those, and we would sing at the top of our lungs, and it was so fun, and at some point, like, growing up, I got to the point where, like, I didn't sing. I didn't sing in front of people,
Mm,
and I got really introverted and, self-conscious, and I have others, like, written down here, but, like, the thing that I like is that I'm looking at a lot of these, and they are things that, like, I've brought back into my life, and, like, they're not things that died with my childhood. They're things that, like, either went away for a time and I brought back, like, playing games with people, or they're things that, like, I still do, and I think that's really cool.
yeah, I'm proud of you for, like, pushing through the activity even though, like, I know there's a lot of, like, childhood trauma and, like, pain there, but I think, like, that's gonna be part of your healing too, is, like, with, like, homecoming and, like, learning to, like, heal within and, like, being able to be like, "Actually, I have these sacred things that were part of my childhood that I get to, as an adult, reclaim." Like, you get
Yeah,
to detach them from any, like, trauma or bad experience that you had, like, and you get to experience them as an adult in safety, in your own space with no one that's going to, like, hurt you or harm you or ruin that. Like, you can at any point, and I know that you do art stuff too, like, you get to, like, color whenever you want, like, with
right.
no one, nothing, like, knowing, like, that you're safe, which is so powerful. So I love that you were able to find, things. I'm literally going to find one of those We Sings on YouTube and sing those songs as
Yes.
as part of
Oh
my
my gosh,
self-care,
I love
and
them
I will
so
send you
much.
a voice message doing that. Because Heather and I had, like, I think they had, like, a whole line of different ones,
Yeah,
and
probably.
we loved them all. We would beg to, like, we would find them, like, at Blockbuster or somewhere too, and, like, rent the ones we didn't have or, like, borrow them from people at church, like, and swap. Oh my gosh, so good.
I love it.
So good. So, moving on into Like, so taking some of the things from our childhood, so on the next page or in your journal or whatever. So taking some of the things from like childhood that you haven't done in a while, but that you want to incorporate back in, as well as pulling in new things, or not new things, but things that you notice that bring you joy or pleasure or peace now. I want you to make a list. And this is essentially the self care toolkit that we've been talking about. So, like when you're in a funk or when you feel like maybe you're going down a rabbit hole, like when I was talking about yesterday, like how that one day this week at work when I was walking out and I just felt off, like I felt depressed. And then I was like starting to like judge myself for that. And there's like, we talked about that, but when we feel an emotion, then a lot of times we have we connect the emotion to a belief that we have about the emotion. And then we judge ourselves or not, depending on what our belief is. Like, do we believe that that emotion or feeling is bad or good? And then that kind of sends us into this spiral, and then ultimately is why we choose to do what we do, is based on the belief we have about the feeling, if that kind of makes sense. And so when we start to pay attention to these things that bring us joy, like one of mine is rolling my windows down, having either the radio on or putting on a song and like singing along to the song really loud with like my hand out the window. Like, it brings me so much joy and, like, will instantly improve my mood if I do that. And it's so simple. Like, literally, I'm already in the car, I'm already driving home. Like, roll that window down and crank up the radio? Um, and so sometimes we can just, like, think, like, "Okay, I'm kind of in a funk. What's on my joy list? What's in that self-care toolkit that I can utilize right now?" Um So I'm going to give you a few minutes to think of some things and then we'll share them. And then after that, we're going to talk about one of my favorite things ever lately. And we're going to do it together. So I'll give you a couple minutes to write those activities out. Also, I wanted to add in here too that like this list can be so long, and like some of these things may cost money. Some of them may be short or may be long. Like on my list, like I have driving with the windows down and singing loud, snuggling my dogs, but I also have like getting a massage, which costs money that I'm not going to be able to do all the time. But like getting a massage brings me so much joy and so much pleasure, right? And like there doesn't have to be a judgment about like that at all. Like I used to be like, "Oh my gosh, I don't need that," or like it has to, like I deserve to get a massage. Like I deserve to feel that pleasure in my body. Like I mainly just go lately to get like hour-long foot massages. There's this like Asian spa, like it's called Asian spa, like near our house, and they have hour-long foot massages for like $30. So like sometimes I'm not going to be able to do that, but like that is a good use of my money. Like, and so sometimes I used to like judge myself about that, like, oh well, I like just got one like a couple weeks ago. It's like I can go get a foot massage whenever I want. Like whenever I feel like it's something that I need or like that my body needs or that it's going to bring me joy or that I can afford it or whatever, like go do it. Like I like who makes the rules around how often you can do these things on the list or like um here's another one that was profound to me. I think I heard it in a podcast. So, like, doing the dishes is something that drives me crazy. I honestly hate doing the dishes. And so, kind of like what Natty Lee was saying too, like trying to find like pleasure in these things or whatever. And someone said on a podcast, just run the dishwasher twice. Like, literally run the dishwasher twice. Like, we have a dishwasher and like it's pretty good, but it's like, oh, I hate loading the dishwasher. Like I hate having to like scrape everything off and rinse it off, like if it hasn't whatever. And someone was like, why not just run the dishwasher twice? And I was like, well, you're not allowed to do that, like in my head. And it's like, who said? So now like I find so much joy in loading the dishwasher and not caring at all. I'm like, if it's not off the first time, I'll run it again. If it's not even the second time, I'll run it a third time. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe that's says something else about me. Like, I love breaking the rules. Like, it does make me so happy to just like not care and not be stressed about it. Like, and when I forget and I'm like, oh, we haven't done the dishes in a couple of days, like, because we're not like those people that are like empty sink at the end of the day. But so like if it's like a couple days or whatever, and you're like, this is gonna be annoying, like I'm gonna have to like whatever. Then I'm like, nope, I'm just gonna load them in there and run it twice. So anyway, that's like kind of a silly one.
That.
It's a silly one, but I do think that that is on my in my toolkit.
Nature is such a big part of my self-care, and especially now, like when it's so cold and or just like super rainy, it's hard to get out. It's hard to like remember to get out. Or just in this winter time where you just kind of like want to be in, but it feels so good, and it's so good for like every part of me, my body and my spirit and just my heart. It just like it's so good, and so nature's just a huge part of that. Um, and I love it because there's so much like beauty in it. I love like just taking in all of the elements of the earth and just yeah, it's it's always fun. It's always becomes like some beautiful play. Um, so either that's like going on a hike by myself or a walk, or taking my kids or meeting up with a girlfriend and doing it. Just it's always so fun. We just started ice skating, and I don't have ice skates, but there's these really cool kickstands, um, kick sleds that like I've been borrowing, and we just literally like walked in, and I was like, okay, like I got to get on this call because like I was super excited, but it was fun. We took my kids ice skating, and I was like, I remember doing that as a kid, going to the ice skating rink. Um, and it was something that would be so fun. My mom would drop us off, and we'd be there for like a few hours, and so it's just fun to take my kids to the lake here, and just we got to go skating for a couple hours, and it was just so much fun. And
That is so cool. I've always thought
yeah,
that it would be so like picturesque to like, because I've never been anywhere where people can ice skate like on like in nature, like on the lake. And I just feel like that would be stunning. Like, and so magical. So it's really cool.
I'll send you a picture.
Yes, please do. Natty Lee
And
is in Alaska, so you guys know. Yeah.
this last year, we all got bikes for everybody, and that's been a lot of fun. Like bringing bikes back into my life. Like I hadn't ridden a bike for forever, and just being able to do that with the kids, of like riding down to the lake or riding around town, or there's a fun little hold on, sweetie. There's a fun little coffee shop that's just open in the summertime, and just riding our bikes along the ocean to that, and it just it's beautiful. It's good. So
That's
those
cool.
just bringing those activities back and finding joy in them. This
Love
is
it.
Levi. He's my baby. Always comes into the spaces. He's like, he feels the magic in them.
I love it. That's fun. Riding bikes was on my childhood list. Like I loved riding bikes. And that I think it'd be fun to bring that back. I used to love rollerblading too, but that one I don't know if I can handle these days. But we can work up to that. Okay, so one of my things that, and this does not even intimidating, like I know like you might hate collaging, but please just bear with me with this one. So I love collage art. I used to like honestly think it was so dumb, and I'm in this art therapy group like monthly class, and I feel like there have been like, well, you can see like in my theme. The only one that I didn't make in this, what is this one right here, which I'll talk about in a second. But these three at the this one, and this one I made, and then I'll talk about this one in a second. But and I have them like, so I just started doing them in my journal. Can you guys still see me, or is it just my screen? You can see me. Okay. So like here's one of them where this one just says like I am, and then I found a bunch of different like phrases in the magazine that I used, and I think I just used like one magazine. And then it has like lead role, connected, kind, a multiverse, dreamer, gratitude, a star, unlocked, sensitive, time. So that one is all just like I am. And then the next one is this one. And this one, I put a picture of me on there. And then I'm trying to remember what the theme was for this one. I think this one was just connect to yourself and like put down things that like feel like they relate. And this one has, oh yeah, this one was like anything that you feel connected to, just like put it on there. And so there's like some images, and then unconditional love, the birthright of all beings, flow, um, shukino, like it was just this word, and then it had means being happy, joyful, and satisfied. So I should look up that word because that's in obviously another language. Courage, strength, perseverance, luca, which is another word, and it says is the root of the English word location. In this context, loca means in all locations or in all universes. So like that stood out to me. Deep happiness is the seat of unconditional love. These are all things I just randomly found. So that was that one. And then the last one is I did 2 pages, and I just had, so I have this journal. I actually like bought both of these journals. They were just at Five Below, and they're like so good for just everything. And I like to just do like I do like my art therapy like stuff in here, or like any like thing lately I've been doing in this journal, and it's really cool because it keeps it all so organized. So I'm definitely encouraged like an art journal. So here's the last one is this 2-page one. And this one was more like a vision board for this year for 2024, and like different things that I wanted to like call in and manifest. And so This one has, I love my job because I struggle with teaching sometimes. Meditate to radiate. Magical things will happen. Our journey back to ourselves. Love your body. One body type is no better than the other. At home in the universe. An artist is someone who practices and expresses their creativity intentionally and regularly. Anyway, so the process of making these, I think, is the main like goal. Like it's so like meditative and just calming. And so I wanted to share that practice with you and challenge you guys to just make something. And you can also do this digitally too. So I'm going to still come back to this one. So actually, I'll just go for this one now. So that one just says, I don't know if you can really tell, but it just is like a bunch of letters and it just says, I love you, 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 all like over and over and over again. And I saw this, I think like on Instagram or on Pinterest, and I was just like obsessed with it. So I, over the last couple of days, have just been cutting out letters like for I love you, and I'm going to make that one. So that's why I put on there, but I'm going to start one like that because part of my like healing journey and like what I want to call in for 2024 is this radical self-love for myself. And like I'm doing this like retreat or workshop because I feel like I've learned so much in the last year, but I'm still continually like trying to show myself compassion and self-love. So I'm going to make that I love you, I love you, I love you one. So you can also make a digital one. And I can also like show anybody how to do this. It's so easy. There's a free thing called Canva. It's just canva.com. And I can put that in the chat if you haven't used it before. I just like picked this picture of me and then I just searched different things from my list. I put words on the one side and then things from my list like games, art. I love butterflies, journal, meditation, and made this. So I want you to create some kind of visual representation of your strengths, your unique abilities, your sources of joy through this process of making a collage. So you can use a combination of images, words, colors to express those qualities that make you unique and the things that bring happiness to your life. So, actually, in the chat, is there anybody that wants me to show you how I made that digital one? Are people planning on doing digital or paper? Also, this could also just look however you want it to. It could just even be writing the mantras from yesterday over and over again in different colors. Like it doesn't have to be an actual collage, like any kind of um, therapeutic process of art you can do, if that makes sense.
I'm doing the digital. I got the app for the iPhone.
Okay, cool. I have that too.
Okay.
So I can show you if you need.
Yeah, I like just kind of downloaded it in like the 5 minutes before we started.
Okay, cool. So it probably looks like this, something like this. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so at the bottom, there's like a little plus sign. Do you see that
Uh-huh.
little purple plus sign? So if you click on that plus sign,
Uh-huh.
a bunch of different suggested ones might come up, or you
Mhm.
can just search. So I did the flyer, the portrait flyer. So if you type in flyer, just
Okay.
FLYER, there probably are some different like
Okay.
sizes. So if you want to do landscape, you can do landscape or portrait. The portrait is the one that I did, but whatever
Okay.
feels good to you. And then it may pop up like this. Does it have like different
Yeah, it
template
has like
styles?
different like weddings, templates and
So don't worry about the templates. At the
okay.
bottom, do you see on the bottom where it says elements?
Yes.
So if you tap on elements, that's like the key. So then in the elements, you can search for anything. So
Oh,
that's where I would put in like body positivity was one of the ones that I did on mine. And I think that's where I got this little like heart with the hug.
okay.
Or actually maybe also where I found that body positive one. But you can type in any kind of phrase. And I always stick with the graphics, and like so many like clip art things will pop up. And then if you like one, you can just tap on it. So like this one just shows like self-love club. And then you can just move it around and change the size and just kind
Okay.
of make a collage from there. If that does that
Cool.
make sense? And I love the digital ones because then like you can put it as the background on your phone, or you can anyway, like you
Awesome.
can do
Thank you.
anything. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. I'm going to put some music on and probably set a timer for like 15-ish minutes to work on this, and then you can always come back to it if you don't finish. And then if anyone wants to share, then we'll share, and then we'll end from there. Is the music okay, or is it too loud? Good.
Darling, darling, you're beautiful. Gotta keep your head up. Never let anything bring you down. Sunshine will always come around. Stay strong, move on. You have such a beautiful soul. Let your energy radiate. Darling, darling, you're beautiful. You gotta keep your head up. Never let anything bring you down. The sunshine will always come around. Stay strong, move on. You have such a beautiful soul. Let your energy radiate. Darling, darling, remember days will get much
We'll
better.
keep going for like 5 more minutes,
Darling,
and then
you
we'll
can
come back
make it
together.
through the stormy weather. Darling, darling, please don't ever give up. Darling, darling, you gotta keep your head up. Darling, darling, remember days will get much better. Darling, darling, you can make it through the stormy weather. Darling, darling, please don't ever give up. Darling, darling, you gotta keep your head up.
Okay. So I think we'll stop the, not stop, but take a pause on the collages for now. And we can come back together for a minute. Let me see. How was that for everybody? This is how far I got on my I love yous. Oops, it's blurry, but because I think my camera is on like some weird thing, like automatically is blurring me some for some reason. Let's see. So that's as far as I got on my I love you collage, but I'll keep working on it.
Nice.
How was the process for you?
I feel like I was getting in a groove. Like,
Oh, good. Sorry, like I cut you off.
no, you're good. I like at first I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, what do I do with this? And then I like started getting into like the creative and like the symbolism of stuff, and I like it a lot.
Oh, good. Yay. I'm
Yeah.
so glad. Like, that's kind of how it was for me. Like, we started doing these, well, like, there were multiple ones. So, like, I'm in this like monthly kind of come when you want, like, membership art therapy group. And I felt like a lot of them were collage. And at first, I was like, I just like don't really care about this at all. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't know. And then now it's like one of my favorite things because I think like it does help me just like like get out of my head about it, and I just start like being like, oh, like that's cute, or oh, I like that, or and then as I start to arrange things, I'm like, oh, like that made me think of this, or like, and you do kind of like drop into yourself, which is what we've
Mhm.
been talking about this whole like the last 2 days, where it's like that is the magic, I think, where the magic is when you get out of the brain and drop into the body or like the soul or like into that groove. And so I'm excited that you like were able to get into it. And I like that there's a digital version. Like
Yeah,
it's fun. Like Canva is so fun to
I
like
know.
play with. Yeah.
Can I show you guys what I made so far?
Yes. Please do.
If you can even see it. Let's see.
Yes, I can. Oh, I love it. Mm,
It makes me really happy.
I'm so glad. Thanks for sharing.
I love yours, Monica. Thanks for sharing. Um,
Thank you.
Nicole, you know I hate collages.
I know.
So I made a little quilt.
Yay, that's a total Sarah
It's
collage.
total collage.
Mini quilt.
It's just made out of fabric. And like,
It's
I
That's
don't
perfect.
know
so
if you can
cute.
see. Look at this little pig.
So cute.
I totally did it more based off like the inner child and like joy stuff. And like, Nicole, this is the fabric I got from like the fabric your mom gave you. And it
Yes.
says love on it. So like that's just perfect. And when I was a kid, I remember now I like had a pig collection. Like
Love
stuffed
it.
animals. I had pig slippers. I was obsessed with pigs for some reason. So this is cute. And thank you.
I love it. And I love the clouds on it because it just made me like connect to I used to actually love, and in one of those We Sing movies, Monica, there's like I think it's like Big Rock Candy Mountain or something one, and they would look at the clouds in that video. And so I have like these memories coming back to me of like laying on our trampoline in the backyard just to look at the clouds and like to try to see if we could, see any different shapes or whatever. And that was something I love to do. And I bet would bring me a lot of joy now too, to just go like lay in the grass and look at the clouds. And why am I feeling like we did that in college? Did we do that, Monica? I don't know, but I'm feeling like maybe uh at
I
some
don't
point
know that
I
we
would
did, but it seems like we should
something we would
have.
do. Love it. So good. Well, thank you guys for being here. Did you do any collaging, Natalie? I know you have like little humans that need you, so
Yes, I took care of the little humans, but um, I did some art yesterday in a beautiful ceremony that I was holding. We've had some really beautiful ceremonies the last 2 Fridays, and in each one, we've done some really beautiful art that's been brought in. And I feel so inadequate, is that the right word? Um, to be in this beautiful space with these women. And well, I love being in the space with these women. I feel very at home. But when it comes to art, they are like true artists. And it's so beautiful to be in that space. But I look at my art compared to theirs and it's like, okay, don't compare. Like you are exactly where you're supposed to be and doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. And I love, love, love that Sarah, you brought in your quilting. That's so beautiful. And Monica, yours was just so perfect. And I'm like, okay, I could do digital. Like I feel like digital might be a fun thing to explore. And then as you were doing your quilting, I was like, man, I really need to find a space for my sewing machine to be so that I don't have to take it in and out, but it has a home because it brings me so much joy to quilt. And often I've made so many quilts that I give away that I love that. Like I love that I get to do that and share that with somebody. Sometimes it's hard to like, oh, I've actually made quite a few. Like but it feels good that they're exactly where they're supposed to be and shared with who they're supposed to be with and I kind of love that. So Thank you for your beautiful ideas and inspiration. And I'm just looking at this collection of women that are around you, Nicole, and I love like the versions of your life that are here supporting you. Like I think that's so beautiful.
It's really cool.
So,
Like it's
so
really,
grateful
really
to be
cool.
with all of you.
Thank you so much, everybody. Oh my gosh. Truly the best people you all are. I am going to share this one last time. Let's see. Okay, let's see. So we already did the shares. So this is just my last little thank you slide. I have truly wanted to host like a online retreat workshop thing for so long, and I did it. Like I finally just did it. And I'm just thankful to have been supported by you people, and I am supported not just in this like container for this retreat or whatever, but in my daily life by all three of you, and so I'm just so thankful. Um, so you can, if you want to indulge in any other ways to work with me, I have them listed here, but I think all of you pretty much already know that. So you can, obviously, I think everyone's on my Instagram, but if you want to share with anyone that you think would vibe with me or connect on this type of creative coaching journey with me, I am opening up to take 3 new clients, which would be 8 sessions over the next 2 months, where you would get 2 individual readings, weekly Sunday morning meditation circle, which is free already, and you can access that whenever. 2 months free access to the Cathartic Collective, which is like my subscription based platform. And it's $400 in full for the 8 sessions plus all the other stuff, or people can pay $55 session. And then if that's not aligned, you can also join the Cathartic Collective, which on there is like I do a monthly group tarot reading for the group, coaching classes with the replays on there, and which is like this, just like a one, but it's just like a one-off, and then they live in like the back end of the website for that. Also, I have my meditations on Sundays that are free, and I have a Facebook community group that's free as well, and I want to start posting more like shorter, like maybe like a 15-minute like thing to do on there. So, and also just loving me like you all already do, and if you can just share this with anyone that you think would benefit, that will help me out. And also, I'm going to plan on doing some more free workshops in the future too. So I love you all. And I think that's it for this round. So yeah, thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks, Nikki.
Love you. See you soon, everybody.
Love you.
Bye.